It's time for a garden tour video. So I filmed one at the beginning of the month and that didn't make it onto YouTube because of my whole storage issue, filming with a digital camera, not liking the sound quality, and just not doing any videos from that camera. I'm back on my phone right now. It is now September 27th today. So I could have waited a few more days and just did like an October 1st garden tour video. But I want to get a lot of work done this weekend and like tearing the garden down. So I just wanted to film now and do like an end of season video. The garden has been pretty neglected as far as like weed management. Our lawnmower broke, so we haven't been able to mow in between the rows. And I've been working a ton of hours at work, like 6 days for the last couple of weeks. I have to work tomorrow, which is Saturday, and then I'll have Sunday off. But when I'm working like that, I don't have time to do like the weeding of the garden or taking care of it, and we're just full on harvesting and canning at this point. So here's the bean hedge. We have harvested a lot of beans from this. We canned like 50 pints. And then we did a bunch of Shelly beans too. So here's our pepper row. We actually ended up mowing it down. We did save a couple of pepper plants that were looking all right. They just now started flowering, and we're only 2 weeks away from our first frost date, so I really don't think we're gonna get anything out of this. Marigolds look great. This row is, you can't even really tell between the rows. Everything's so grown over. But this row is the beef steak tomatoes. We have done lots of tomatoes. We've done lots of juice, lots of stewed tomatoes. And there are still tomatoes out here. So this row was our slicing tomato row. There's a few tomatoes left out here. We have harvested a lot of tomatoes this year. There's a couple. Oh, and down here some. But we didn't prune or trellis our tomato plants at all this year. We just let them be wild. So this row was our onion and shallot row. That's all done and taken care of. Oh, and there was poblanos at the end of this row too. I forgot about my shallot flower in this row. Wonder if there's any seeds left on there. I'm just gonna pick that now. I went to pick it and pulled up the whole thing. So I'll see if this is a good shallot. Forgot he picked all the poblano peppers yesterday, but the plants are nice and tall. And they're flowering again. Probably not gonna do anything though. So this is our cherry tomato and cucumber row. Cucumbers are done. Oh, there's a weird little cucumber right there. But lots of tomatoes on this. And these were bigger than a cherry tomato. They were like I don't know what to call them. But they're definitely bigger than just like a regular cherry tomato. And then we did put some extra slicing tomatoes at the end of this row. Lots of green ones. That one died. And here was our zucchini and summer squash. They do have blight or powdery mildew, and this is one of the things I want to get out of here. So they are still producing too, and we've been throwing it into the animals, but I just want to get this out of the garden. So down to our raised beds. So this is my herb garden. We have chives, comfrey, tarragon, chamomile, lemon balm, lavender, sage, basil, thyme, carrot seeds, and then our rosemary. The Brussels sprouts are gone. They just kept not looking like a Brussels sprout. Like they just kept, I don't want to say they just kept flowering, but they just kept like not staying like a tight little ball. They were just like rosettes or something on there. So we got rid of them, fed them to the animals. Here's where those experimental potatoes were that we won't do again. This is where we had the onions and where our garlic is gonna go in like a month, maybe a month and a half. And then here's where we had the garlic and the dill. And then our corn, that's all harvested. So this row is where we had the collards, the Brussels sprouts, which they're doing it too. They're just like flowering out. They're not staying like nice tight little heads. The kale's still going. We've been feeding that to the animals. And at the end was our cabbage, and that is all gone. In this row we have our Mexi bell peppers. They are making more peppers. They also have more flowers. And then our celery. Some of these plants like regrew after we chopped the first round of celery down. And then some of them are still celery that we need to chop and feed to the animals. And then after the celery, we had Roma tomatoes. Lots of green ones. Not very many red ones yet. And then our purple cabbage that was in here is all gone. And then we still have some of our Swiss chard down here at the end that we're still feeding to the animals. So this was our green bean row, and I picked all the green beans and I just pulled up the plants. We fed them to the animals. And then down here we have more aromas. Oh, there's a reddish one right there. Over here is more summer squash and zucchini. This is another thing that I just want to rip out this weekend. It is moldy. And then it still does have zucchinis on it, and it has more flowers. Here are the potato rows. The potatoes have been dyed back for a little while now. And I think we're gonna come through and weed whack all of the weeds down and then rake it up, give it to the animals, and then dig out the potatoes. I should have a lot of purple potatoes up here. And then we already harvested all the beets that were over here. Those are all gone. And we did start digging up some potatoes right there. We had them for dinner last night. So over here was where all my brassicas and my sunflowers were. Now it's full of goats. I did get like 5 nice broccoli heads. Cauliflower wasn't really doing anything. And the Brussels sprouts were doing okay. But we needed to move the goats away from the chickens. So they got put back in here where they used to be 2 years ago. And I sacrificed my brassica garden for it. And the reason why the goats had to be moved out of the chicken pen was, first of all, it wasn't ideal. And second of all, we got 2 new additions to the Ho-Stead. Super cute too, I might add. So here's our neglected vining garden. I haven't been out here in a long time, so I have to go see what is out here. Well, there's no watermelons. This is the one that was a little one, got all rotted. There's one of the other watermelon plants. So as you can see, did not do well. Was not taken care of. So here's a plant with something on it. I think it was supposed to be a pie pumpkin. Maybe a spaghetti squash, acorn squash, I don't know. Couple of acorn squash, very small. Well, there's the pie pumpkins. Pie pumpkin and a little baby pumpkin. Here's a plant. I think that is a little butternut squash. There's a pumpkin. There's some pumpkins over there, little pumpkins. Pumpkins here. These ones were supposed to stay really dark, but I didn't pick them. So I'm gonna pick that one so it stays black and doesn't turn like that. I have a pumpkin over here. Over here we had a couple of zucchini plants. I kind of forgot about them. I never filmed them. There's a zucchini. This one has one too. And so does this one. So big. So that's gonna be it for the garden tour. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do another one or not. I know last year I did one after it frosted, but I think last year at this time it had frosted. It had frosted 2 weeks before the expected frost date. So hopefully that doesn't happen this year because I have a lot of stuff out here still that I need to take care of. I've been watching the weather. Looks like we're fine for another week and then we'll see what happens after that. I appreciate you guys watching my videos and I will see you later.